crafters, and welcome to Creative Moments by G. I'm G, and today is Technique Tuesday. We're going to show you a technique to create kind of a pop-out card. So let's head down to the crafting table and let's get started. The first thing you're going to need is a base card. Now, just your typical base card, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And remember, all our measurements will be listed over on creativemomentsbyg.com/blog. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy this tutorial. Now, today's card, we're going to be working with this adorable stamp set called Friendly Gnomes. Oh my goodness. And make sure you stay with us to the end because we have 2 more gnome cards to show you. You're going to need a mat for the front of this card. And so we have simply cut that 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to glue this down before we cut our opening in the front of the card. Now, we decided to use a white base card because we didn't want to have to add some mats on the inside so you could write your sentiment. So that's always a good tip. Start with a white base card, and that way you have the inside for your sentiment and you don't have to add a white mat. But let's go ahead and bring out a 2.5 inch square. And we're going to put this right in the middle. Use some of our repositional tape, tape this down, making sure that we have about the same distance at the top, bottom, and sides. And then we're going to run this through the boss. We love Technique Tuesday because it allows us time to really go into depth some of the techniques that we use. Now we're simply going to pop this out of the front of our card. And now we have the front of our card and we have our aperture cut out. So the next thing we want to do is create our mechanism for the inside of this pop-out card. And for that, you're going to need a piece of paper, 6 by 4.5, and we're going to add some score lines. We're going to add a 2 inch and a 4 inch. Go ahead and move it right over to 4. And now you can crease this, just fold it over and then fold it back. You can bring out your bone folder to reinforce that and make sure it's nice and flat. Now, the way this goes in the card is just like this. You can put this right on the edge of the card. You'll fold it over like this and we'll just glue it down. But before we do that, we want to decorate this first piece. Now, the reason we're not decorating this is the area that you're going to use for your sentiment. We took a coordinating color, which is this beautiful color, and we cut it 1 3/4 by 4 1/4, and we ran it through an embossing folder, and we decided to use splattering 3D embossing. Now look how beautiful that is. So pretty, right? And it just gives it that added presentation. So let's go ahead and just glue this down. Now, the reason you want to make sure that you have DSP or patterned paper is that you will be able to see this through the window a little bit. So you want to make sure that it's pretty, right? So go ahead and take your time, pick out a coordinating color, and then emboss it, or you could use DSP that already has a pattern on it. Now the next thing we need to do is cut out 2 squares. Our 2 squares are 2.5 and a 2 1/4. So we're going to cut the larger one out of a coordinating color, and that's going to be 2.5. Now the next square is going to be our white square that we actually do the stamping on. And so go ahead and take it to 2.5 and back it out depending on the size border that you want. But I want a very small border. I want more room to be able to stamp. So I'm going to back it out just a 1/16 right before the 2.5. And that will give us our perfect square that we need. Now there won't be much border, but there'll be just a hint of color, which is perfect. So let's look at that. See, we'll still have that hint of color. So now I'm going to bring in the stamps that we need. So I'm going to lay down a small piece of paper. And the first stamp is the message. And we are going to stamp Gnome, Sweet Gnome. We're going to bring in our memento. And I'm going to put that right in the top corner. And then I'm going to bring in our little girl with the braids in her hair. She is so adorable. Just going to stamp her right here. And because we're talking about Gnome, Sweet Gnome, we're going to go ahead and bring in our mushroom. And we're going to kind of stamp it off the square, but there'll be a little bit of it on our There'll be a small amount of it on our image. Look at how cute that is. Now all we have to do is color it. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to color her hat. And we're going to color it Poppy Parade. Now we're going to bring in some Daffodil Delight and just color that flower. Next, let's go ahead and do her braids. Okay, and now we are going to use the light and we are going to color her little blouse. We're going to bring in some dark cherry cobbler just to go around those little ruffles. Now we're going to bring in a little bit of lilac for her blouse. Finish up her outfit. We're going to give her just a little bit of blush right there on her cheek. And now we're going to bring in light soft suede for the mushroom house. We're going to add this to the front of our mat. And you can always cut a little more off if you want more of a border right here. And remember, all these supplies are listed below the video. You can just go straight to our online store and purchase them. Make sure if it's before December 31st that you use that host code that you see on the screen so that you can get some happy mail from us. So let's go ahead and get this glued down. And now let's get this laid down. We're just going to add some glue right on the back of our mechanism. Fold it over and just line it up right in the middle. Take it right to the edge of the paper and hold it so that it has time to adhere to the paper. Let's go ahead and just close it. And now we're going to keep this closed and we're going to add this right to the top of it. The reason we're keeping it closed is it will show you exactly where you need to put the glue. This is a very fast card to make, but there's some tips in there that certainly make it easier for you. And make sure that you don't take your glue to the very edge because it will squish down, but you don't want to glue that front cover so that it doesn't open. Okay, we're just gonna hold it for a second. Now we love that. That is so cute. But to really make this pop, we went ahead and we cut out a frame and we're just gonna add this right to the front of it and look at the difference that makes. Now, this is a perfect card to give to someone at an office or that has a desk because when you open it, look at that. It stands up perfectly. And let me show you what it looks like when it opens. Look how cute that is. You have plenty of room to write your message right here. It folds up perfectly to fit in the envelope. And it stands up just perfectly. So let's go ahead and lay this one down and let me bring in another one. Now look at this adorable gnome. Now look at him. Look at how we used our blends to color him. He's a birthday card, has some balloons, and when you open him up, he stands up perfectly as well. You have plenty of room to write your message. And finally, we have, look at this cute little gnome. He's holding a Valentine. There's no one better than you. And you open him up, and he stands up perfectly. Once again, we embossed our paper. This is just a very fast card to make. A few tips that you need to remember. Go ahead and when you fold this mechanism, take it all the way out to the edge right here. Make sure that you use some kind of decorative paper or DSP or you emboss it because you can see through it and you want to make sure that it is decorated. And when you finally go to glue this little guy down to this area, shut it all the way and add your glue right here. And that way you know exactly where to add your glue so that you don't accidentally glue this front flap down. So please take a moment below, comment and let us know which one you like better. Gnome, Sweet Gnome, Magical Birthday, or there's no one better than you. Thanks for spending your time with us today. We hope you enjoyed our Technique Tuesday as much as we did. We want you to go out, make it a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.